VP of Operations for the Somerset Patriots, has been for quite a few years, and they do, as you can imagine, an incredible job for bringing Major League Baseball to Bridgewater, New Jersey at an affordable price for families, which is an incredible thing. They fill the place up every night. People have a lot of fun. We'll talk a little bit what they do behind the scenes here. So we have been an IT partner for the Somerset Patriots since 1998 when they started, before they even had a ballpark beautiful like this. And it's been a great partnership for these past 26 years or so. So they share our values, which is exactly what we try to get all of our prospects, people who we want to work with, share our values, like many of you here. We've got clients here for many, many years, and it's been a great relationship because we improve the quality of life for our clients, our teammates, and our community, and there's no I in any of that. That's our purpose. And we have 3 peaks that we put all of our work on, which is peak protection, which is security and compliance, our peak performance. The problem with those 2 is it hits the bottom line very hard with businesses. But our new peak intelligence gives the ability for clients to be able to increase revenue and increase profitability at the same time. So one of the things that we do in peak protection is, obviously, if this is the ballpark here, they're under attack. We're all under attack 24/7. So we put all kinds of logical sort of logistics around that, software, applications, firewalls. We monitor it and whatever. And today we have a whole team of AIs looking at every single thing that's going on the network. And that's why, thankfully, we haven't had any cyber incidents here. And our peak intelligence plan has 3 boxes. One is educate and train your teams. I don't want to get into this too deeply, but we'll talk to you all about that if you're interested in it. So giving your people the ability to use the tools that's at their fingertips on their desktop right now it's right in front of you. And that's the first goal. Get your people trained up on the tools that they have on their desktop. Then we sit with you and we figure out the use cases, the things that are creating friction. We're writing agents every single week that are saving hours and hours of time for our people and taking the drudgery work off of them so they can focus on the most important thing, human-to-human relationships. That's what that's all about. But on top of it, the one thing that must be done is we got to secure the data. I have a quick question for everybody. How many people have a wearable on right now? Either a Whoop, Apple Watch, Garmin, or the Oura Ring. We'll talk a little bit about the wearables, what they do with these wearables in sports, training for improving the performance of athletes, but also to prevent injuries and to predict injuries. So one of the things the Somerset Patriots does incredibly well is they have immersive and inclusive experiences. To begin with, they've got a fabulous ballpark here. And by the way, this is a Somerset County park, okay? It's a partnership between government and private industry. And it's been an incredible partnership. Most people don't know that the commissioners of Somerset County built this facility, and the Patriots pay rent, and they also pay some of their profitability back in terms of the concessions.
Yeah,
so
we've done all the improvements to the facility over the last 29 years, 28 years. We've done every improvement to the facility out of our pockets, essentially. So that's come all from us, and we've been proud to be taxpayer neutral that entire time.
Yeah, incredible partnership. They also invested very heavily, as you can see here. They've got beautiful locker rooms. Once they became the AA team for the Yankees came in and did an incredible job upgrading the facility. They've got incredible concessions downstairs and here. They take real good care of their people with the world-class locker rooms, state-of-the-art mobile kiosks. So on some days, there's like, how many kiosks they have out there? What?
Could be anywhere from like 3 on some nights on a slower night like tonight, or it could be, we've had as many as 15 or 16 vendors down on the, in the lower level.
And these are local businesses that come in and sell their wares and promote the ballpark, and some of that money goes back again to the county. And then obviously everybody gets free Wi-Fi, but they also do that. The ballpark invested heavily in a new scoreboard out there, which is one of the state-of-the-art in minor league baseball, right?
Yep.
They've got incredible lighting. Those lights that they put in, it looks like broad daylight on a night. Videos, scoreboard, they do drone videos and photography. They invested in all of that technology. And they're very heavy into community. Every single game, they have local groups performing. So children come out here, industry, like people in community groups, nonprofits, they support all of them. So they're very much community oriented.
And tonight's Educator Appreciation Night, so we have about 70 educators from Somerset and Middlesex counties here tonight. We'll be doing a pregame ceremony for them, basically honoring ESPs of the year, Teachers of the Year, all in those county schools, which is great. So
we'll switch over to the Yankees, what the Yankees have done this year. I don't know if you've noticed, but they invested heavily in a very state-of-the-art scoreboard that has a tricked out technology like you wouldn't believe in it. Push buttons here, it's got AI behind it and creates things on the fly. It's pretty incredible. It's one of the most advanced ballparks in Major League Baseball, 22,000 square feet, and the LED ribbon boards around the second and third levels, continuous immersive experiences. They've dramatically improved the resolution, much sharper imagery, multiple content windows that they can fly in and out. They do live video, instant rate players, player stats, animation, sponsor messaging. But the important thing, the advancement this year, which is interesting, is automated balls and strikes. We'll talk a little bit about that. They're able to put the actual, if there's a challenge, which they can do now in Major League Baseball, they can challenge the ump. They actually put it up on the screen so everybody can see it, and it's pretty obvious whether it's a ball or a strike.
Yeah.
Football has had that for a long time, but now baseball has caught up to that using the technology. And I'm sure a lot of people have opinions about, wow, it's not like the game I played. Okay, well, welcome to the new world, So also, they did a partnership with Adobe. And Adobe now has the ability, so when you're a fan in the stands, you can actually do some virtual reality overlays on your phone to what's going on the field and get all kinds of information about the players and the game and stats and all of that good stuff. Adobe's partnership with Major League Baseball started this year, and it's pretty cool. And by the way, I've used AI to create this presentation. So I just basically asked AI, tell me about the advances in Major League Baseball, and in about 2 or 3 minutes later, I had a complete slide deck. Now, of course, I had to work with it and say, I don't like that, change it to this, change it to that, but these graphics here are pretty much AI generated. I did not put any of that up there myself. So what this means for every business is that if you have infrastructure, you can turn your infrastructure, your technology, your connections with your clients, you can turn that into a customer experience platform. That's what they've done here. That's what they do in entertainment. But every business can do that if they think about how they can make that happen. You can create data in real time to create images, create videos, respond to people via AI, and improve the customer experience dramatically. And the companies that are doing that, even with these AI chatbots, which have come a long, long way in the past year and a half, you can actually program those so that it has all of the domain knowledge that somebody would ask. And it would feed all that back to anybody who asks. And not just like the old chatbots. These, you can't really tell it's not a person. And as soon as you get to a point where you say, I want to talk to a representative, or I want to talk to somebody else, or you stump them with a question, they can very easily turn you over to a human being. So what does that do? It improves the customer experience. It takes some of the load off of the people who are serving the customers. And then when they can interact, and they need to interact at a higher level, that's what you can do. So it can be completely orchestrated by the AI in your companies.
It really can. And if you go on our website, you can actually see firsthand. We have an AI chatbot on our website, and just like Bill said, it can read all of the web pages. It's continuously learning from all the different information that we have on the website, and it can tell. If somebody asks a question that may not be in our pre-programmed responses, so we put in a lot of data in the beginning, it'll go through and try to find that information for you, and it'll spit that back. In a lot of cases, it's pretty accurate. Some cases some cases when it spits back, it's it may not have exactly the right answer because it may pick something that's a little bit older. But I would say 95% of the time, it's got a pretty up-to-date, accurate answer, which is pretty incredible. And I've seen the logs, and I've seen people interact and have conversations with the AI bot like it was an actual person answering questions. It's pretty incredible, the technology that we're provided in Major League and Minor League Baseball. So that's one of.
Yeah.
And we use AI for sales too quite heavily, so that's something we can talk about a little bit too.
So again, improved player stats, advanced training methods, fan engagement, enhanced viewing options, game management, efficient scheduling, logistics, real-time data tracking. The amount of data points that they pull out of this ballpark every night is absolutely mind-boggling. Terabytes of data go into the cloud for analysis and planning. And then, really importantly, safety and health is a big thing. So we'll see how they use some of these tools to prevent injuries and monitor the health, just like these wearables do for us. They do that for the athletes. So anybody hear about the torpedo bats last year? Yeah, I'm sure you did. Yep. Well, they hired an MIT physicist to come in. The Yankees did several years ago. And what they did was they put these Hawkeye tricked out cameras all around the ballparks, and they can absolutely see everything about the batter. How he hits the ball, exactly where it hits the ball, high definition cameras. And what they figured out is some batters hit the ball in the sweet spot of the bat, because there's a sweet spot, just like there is on my golf club, and I'm still trying to find it. So what they found is that some really good athletes, batters, don't always hit it in the sweet spot. They hit it a little off center, right? So what do? They machine the bat to that player's sweet spot, which gives them somewhat of an advantage. And it's entirely legal, and anybody can do it now. So that was a major innovation last year, to be able to improve the performance of the batters. They also have these Kinetrax machines all over Major League Baseball, also in the NCAA and minor league baseball. So it takes all of those data points and provides 3D locations for everything and integrates it with other data capture systems to give you even greater detailed analysis of what's going on. I mean, this is unheard of 5-10 years ago. This is absolutely mind-boggling. Maybe you want to talk about that a little, Bryan?
Yeah, this is one of the many systems that the Yankees use. If there's an AI technology out there, the Yankees use it. They've got everything, but this is one of them, and it integrates with almost every other system that they have in place. From we have a system called the Hit Track system. It integrates with that. It integrates with the stuff that they have in the bullpen. It's pretty incredible what it does. And the data points that they get out of this system is absolutely incredible.
And this is markerless capture, which they now have. So they don't even need to have the wearables on them. to figure out what's going on. They're able to zone in with these high definition
The cameras catch everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And there's a lot of cameras in this ballpark.
Yeah. If you look around that second level there, you'll see them hanging off of there.
Yeah, just go out on the suite level balcony and you'll see all the cameras that are up here on the suite level balcony. They're all cameras that are part of either what the Yankees have a proprietary system that they created. There's Hawkeye cameras that are up there, as Bill mentioned. There's all kinds of stuff here. It's pretty incredible, and it's crazy because the players never have enough cameras. They come every year. They're like, we need to see this or we want to see that, and they're always adding. It's unbelievable how many cameras they add every year because the players just can't get enough data.
Yeah, this is some pretty cool video. You have to understand the split-second high definition, high frame rate of these cameras is incredible. And these are the Hawkeye cameras. But interestingly enough, the 3 or 4 companies that put this together are all owned by Sony now. Sony owns all of those companies. Hawkeye, Kinetrax.
It originally started out in tennis. They were, that was the origin was to get line in and line outs because there's these guys and girls were serving so fast that it's so hard to see to the naked eye these line in, when they're serving, that they put this system together to capture whether it was in or out on the serve. So, and then it's transitioned to many other uses.
Yeah. So the players, everybody uses it. They use it in training systems and in actual games. Again, many cameras, and obviously 3D joint location.
And every pitch, if you watch the scoreboard tonight, so every pitch that you see up on the bottom of the scoreboard, it'll tell you what the pitch was, how fast it was. That all comes from the Hawkeye camera. It goes into AI, it shows the spin rate, and it'll basically tell you what pitch that was coming out of the pitcher's hand instantly up on the scoreboard, and that feeds right to our Daktronics interface.
Yeah, and this is a new thing in Major League Baseball, is the automated ball and strike system. Which is pretty simple, and that's, it's absolutely mind-boggling what they can do with the speed of that ball. This is the really tricked out piece of it, though. So if they can know where the batter's hitting the ball, they know exactly how the pitcher throws the ball because they train the camera on the pitcher. And they get high definition, high frame rates to know exactly what he's doing to make that pitch happen. And then what they do is they feed all that data into the Yankee cloud, then they drop it on back down, and they drop it into this machine here. And if you're facing a pitcher tomorrow or this afternoon, and you want to hit his best pitches, this machine will throw them to you. Now, several years ago, Sparky Lyle, Cy Young Award winner, a great all-around great guy, he said that he had a batter one time when he was playing, came up to him, he says, Sparky, your slider is the best in the industry, and I can't hit a slider at all. So you would mind just sitting there and batting practice and throw me sliders? And Sparky's like, that's all I do all day long. I can do that forever. So after some times of doing that, that guy ended up with being a really good slider hitter because he was hitting the best pitcher in the league, slider. And that's what you can do right here with this machine. That's the back end guts of it here. And Brian was telling me that they just upgraded the software on it, so it's even more accurate and incredibly powerful.
Yeah, the second generation of this pitching machine just came in. So we have one of these in our batting cage. The Yankees have 2 in the big leagues, 2 down in their Tampa complex, and then 1 at each of their high A, low A, double A, and triple A levels. It's pretty crazy. Not every team uses them. I think right now, I could be wrong on this, but I think about 15 of the 30 teams are using it. So it's gotten up, which is a little bit more than where it was the last, 3 years ago when we first got it.
And that's because the Yankees are one of the top teams in terms of revenue.
Yeah.
So they can afford this. Is a very expensive
Very
machine,
expensive.
right?
Yes.
And they don't even sell it.
No, they lease them, which is good. That's the way they do them. They lease them because, it's just like leasing a car. Every few years you get the latest and greatest, right? So when the lease ends on the one, you get the new one. So that's what we just got.
What would this cost?
To purchase it, probably over $1 million to purchase the machine itself outright. So that's why they lease them.
Then you have to get it installed. You got to get all the data. You got to hook it up. I mean, it's a major undertaking. So the interesting thing now is that Joe Girardi is an investor in this company called Narivatech. Okay, so this tricked out technology is coming to your smartphone. So they have a company called Narivatech Sport FX AI. Joe Girardi is, I would think, an investor. He's on all the PR. His son works for the company. And it's biomechanics via the smartphone. It's not quite as tricked out as these Hawkeye cameras, obviously, but with the high definition that you have in your cell phone right now, they can get pretty darn close. And it professional grade training, it links that data science to practical coaching, player development, and it helps student athletes in high school and college improve their skills and also prevents injury. So I'm going to just play a little video here from Joe Girardi. Let me pump up the volume, make sure you can hear it. Yep. And
Series champion and advisor to Narivatech AI, and Joseph Caruso, the founder and CEO of Narivatech. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks for having us.
It's great. So, Joe, talk about what happens now. What did the major leagues? How did they do this kind of biomechanic measurement in the past?
Well, they create these labs that are expensive to build that have all these high-tech cameras and all these sensors, and they have to put the sensors on the body, right? So you can only get it in a lab. Our technology allows you to get it anywhere. You can get it during the game. You can get it in a backfield in the Dominican Republic if you're scouting a young man. So we give you a ton of information simply from your phone.
So, Joseph, walk me through that. I take my phone, I got the app, I pointed at the guy who's pitching.
Anywhere, any place.
And the swing, too, right? Obviously.
Yes, any movement. So really what this is about is we're pioneering AI native, computer vision driven human movement science. And we wanted to put that in the power of the palm of everyone's hand and build this ecosystem, this end-to-end ecosystem where you can actually scientifically measure and not calculate human movement, which can get all kinds of advantage.
I know what you want to measure, but I don't know that everybody at home knows what you want to measure. You're looking for
Anything.
Well, go back, guys. They almost had that thing, the swing, and how that comes through. And I used to when I coached Little League, I used to show the kids a picture of Derek Jeter hitting the ball, and I promised to give them $20 if anybody could find a picture of Derek Jeter not looking down at his bat when he threw it, and nobody could ever find it. But what are some of the things that you're looking at and you're trying to measure with the phone?
What we can measure with the phone is what is out there right now. Companies can get probably a couple of dozen useful tips, useful biomechanical tips. Right now we have over 70,000 dots. Measure anything, including the micro movements of your hand when baseball comes through, a quarterback throwing the ball and how his shoulder moves.
Now we have our attention.
Yes.
How his wrist is hinging.
here?
Any athletic movement, the granularity of what our proprietary.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
And the other thing that you're going to see is all the metrics that players want to see instantaneously, like bat speed, launch angle, spin rate, velocity. You're going to be able to see all those in real time on your phone. And that's how players are judged today, and they want instant gratification. I took that swing. What was my launch angle? What was my velocity off the bat? And you'll be able to get those metrics.
Joe, how important, because you were in baseball at a critical time, how important did these metrics become over time? We did not have bat speed when I was growing up. We didn't do bat speed. We didn't do launch speed. I didn't even know what launch speed was till a few years ago. You guys obviously did, but is it make for a better game, or does it make you maybe you're spending too much time with the stats?
No, I think it allows you to evaluate players and make more educated decisions. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help organizations, players become more efficient and more accurate in everything they do. Whether you're 7 years old, or you're a 25-year-old player, a 35-year-old player, or you're the general manager of a team, or you're a scout, you name it, we're trying to make it more accurate and more efficient. And it's really important because people live by it now.
You're as calm as you were on the field, but you got thrown out a couple of times, right?
Yes.
Just a few times. What was the angriest you ever got?
When Ryan Dempster threw at Alex Rodriguez 4 times and hit him.
He threw at him, right? I remember that.
He didn't get thrown out. And that was the largest fine I ever got.
How much was that?
I think it was $5,000, and I think Ryan Dempster should pay me back.
So it also does a really important thing because with the biomechanics, you're able to predict injuries and into the future based on how the angle of the person is swinging the bat or throwing the ball or whatever. So if the pitcher's arm slot drops by 2 degrees and the velocity dips by 1.5 miles, there's a higher risk of whatever that strain is in the ligament system there. So this is all part of keeping the athletes very, very healthy. And NFL is doing the same thing, obviously, with helmets and things. I saw a helmet that they created. It's 2 layers with ball bearings between the layers because the injury comes when your head gets jostled to the side, not from the initial impact, but the speed of which your head moves. So when you get hit, the top layer rolls with the ball bearings and the bottom layer stays in place. So you don't have that jolting move of your brain inside your head. So, and this is all developed by AI and how they measured all this and created all that. Pretty interesting stuff. So he also uses it for intelligence, obviously. So he can actually see if, a pitcher's speed of his fastball is coming down, or he can notice other, elements. So it takes the whole decision-making process of the performance of the players and the team out of the gut feel that somebody just feels like this is right. Now, of course, if he's gets 2 conflicting data points, he's got to go with his gut, of course. There's always got to be a human in the loop to make the decision, but they use this all the time to predict performance and to prevent injuries. So having said all that, again, these are our 3 pillars here that we do to keep them safe and all of our clients safe, all of you. And if you're interested in talking to us about what we can do for you with AI, please let us know, because this plan absolutely works, the Peak Intelligence Plan. Any questions? Yes?
I know you guys mentioned in the beginning about Somerset Patriots using AI for data and analytics from each kind of game. Is there a human kind of checking that out after every game to make sure there's no problems with it or non-accurate information?
Yeah, the Yankees have an entire team worth of analytics people, essentially. So they basically comb through all the data. They make sure everything gets organized, properly set, and pushed out to all the players. Every player gets issued an iPad, and then at the end of every day, throughout the course of the night, all that data that the advanced scouting analyst, that's their title. They're usually called the advanced scouting analyst. They'll pull all that information in together and get that information pushed out to all the different players. Certain players request certain things, so they can customize what a player's looking for, and then they can get all that. We actually have downstairs, we actually have a live video room as well, so that the players can come off the field and go right into the live video room and actually see their last at bat pretty much immediately and see what they did or where they, what they did wrong or, whatever it could be. I mean, it's pretty crazy how much stuff they can do in this facility.
I needed that in college.
What's that?
I needed that in college.
Yeah.
Some of my at-bats were
Yeah, I tell you, it's the amount of stuff that these kids have at their fingertips is unbelievable.
And because of that, you see records being broken. Look at the golf records. Come on. It's ridiculous. And that's because they all use the Whoop. And that improves their recoveries. They keep track of all their stats, all their biomarkers. That's why the game is the performance of these athletes is off the rails, and as well as just about any other profession as well. We have access to so much information, and that's useful and can improve performance and prevent injuries. It's good stuff. Any other questions? Yeah.
That pitching machine that replicates other pitchers, I mean, is they able to replicate, I'm mispronounced his name, Mr. Oski, the guy that's in for 104 miles per hour easily, or is there like...
Yeah, anywhere that they have analytics data and video, they can easily feed it into the system, and it'll create everything. I mean, when they first put it together, they had some obscure video of Aaron Nola pitching in spring training from the Philadelphia Phillies, and they put that up on the scoreboard, or up on the projection screen on the Traject machine, and the girl that was programmed, it's like, stand in there. So I stood in there, and I realized very quickly why I never made it past my freshman year of college playing baseball. And I was like, wow, this is pretty incredible. And she could put the ball anywhere in the strike zone that I told her to put it with pinpoint accuracy, which is absolutely crazy. So, but yeah, they can pretty much replicate any single pitcher that, and it can throw as faster, as slow as you want it to.
Pretty crazy stuff. Yeah.
Two questions. One, to talk a little bit about you mentioned the AI in your sales.
Yeah.
If you can talk a little bit about that, and obviously the Patriots everything is baseball, but are most of these effective in other sports as well?
The technologies? Yeah, the technologies are used across various different sports. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, the Hawkeye systems was originated in tennis, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of different systems that are across. They develop them to be used in all different sports, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, Traject is obviously something that's only used in baseball because it's specific to baseball. But Kinetrax and all these other technologies can all be used in different various other locations, other sports. And then to touch on how we use AI for sales. So Major League Baseball has partnered up with some really incredible partners over the last couple of years that one of which we have is a system called Stellar Algo, and it basically can pull all of the data points that we have in our ticketing system, and we can dial down so incredible on data. Like we can send out an email as pinpoint as tell me who hasn't purchased or renewed a group that from our picnic area over the last 3 years, and maybe they purchased 30 tickets or more. So we can go back out and say, hey, a few years ago you did a group. Then we can then feed that data points into a new system that we just put together for sales, and we can then feed them sales messages. So I'll let you in on a little secret, and you can't tell anybody this. All right, this is a very, very high secret here. We have a sales rep called Sam Green. Well, Sam Green's an AI sales rep, and some of you may have even gotten an email in here from Sam Green if you're in our database. So Sam will reach out on a certain cadence and say, "Hey, Bill, you did a picnic a couple of years ago. Just wanted to see. We want to get you back on the schedule. Let us know." And then it'll keep sending out at a certain cadence until eventually, that'll come back. And somebody will say, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to schedule an appointment to talk to you a little bit more." Sam then turns it over and says, "Great, I'm going to connect you with Bryan. He's your sales rep," because the system knows. All right, we go through Salesforce. Salesforce has my data points. So if Bill is in the system under my name, then there is a human on the other end of Sam as well in the company who's actually monitoring these messages. So with AI, like Bill said, you need a human to monitor things, right? So the AI will then, the person will then take the message and say, "Hey, Bryan, Bill is interested in a group. I'm going to pass this off to you. Would you please take care of them? And then I jump in. I'm like, hey, Sam, thanks for the handoff. Bill, here's some stuff. Here's some dates, and we get together. So it's been an immense help for us as salespeople because we have so many contacts in our database. It's almost impossible. We have a pretty large sales staff, and we have a sales staff of about 16 full-time salespeople, but we also have a gazillion other responsibilities around the ballpark. So it makes our life much easier to be able to have somebody basically filtering all these messages and helping us with leads and cultivating these leads, which we would never get to. And it'll take obscure leads that have been out there for years that we haven't been able to hit. And we've generated quite a bit of revenue through this technology, which is incredible.
Yeah.
This is exciting stuff, but baseball being America's pastime, is there any major opposition to all of this, especially with performance technology? Or does it matter? I guess that's my other
Opposition to it being used?
I guess baseball, sports becoming more of a used in a non-traditional way. I mean, obviously that's a conversation about AI across all sectors, right? Is there, I don't know, any major opposition?
No, not really. I mean, it's here. It's here. The players love it. Sure. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, as a casual fan, you probably wouldn't notice the technology, being used on a daily basis in the game. So it doesn't really change the game much. It makes the players better, right? So you're seeing better baseball, you're seeing better football, you're seeing better basketball, soccer, golf, whatever you're into, right? You're seeing the athletes get better over the years because these tools are available that they can see that they've never had before. I don't think there's, some of the technology that people are opposed to may be controversial, like we said, the ABS system, right? Because it takes a little bit of, human element out of the umpire's hands. But honestly, I think that's also been met with a lot of positivity. So it's been, there's some baseball purists who don't like some of that type of technology and replays and things like that. But, there's a lot of people that are like, hey, you know what? We don't want the outcome of the game changed on a really horrible call. We have the ability to see what the real call should be. Why not use that technology? And I think that a lot of people are kind of coming around to that and understanding that.
How do you balance, the scoreboard, for instance? How do you balance what you want to show? You could show hundreds of different metrics, but you don't want to overwhelm people.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we try to keep it as simple as possible, right? A lot of people want to know, all right, what the player stats are. So when the players come up, you have your batter stats. They want to know what the pitcher's throwing. So every pitch, we have that up there for what the pitchers are throwing. It's a fine balance of not getting too crazy, but having enough information for the people that are stat geeks, so to speak, that want to come out and really get all the stats that they can. And the stuff that we don't have is easily available on the web. You can easily jump into Baseball Reference, MILB.com, MLB.com. All those extra stats that we're not showing are always there. And the cool thing about our system, it feeds back through the system, all the data points that come in from the game. That helps fuel when you're watching the game on your phone and you're seeing the pitch trackers and the hit trackers and the live updates, the non-video updates where you see where the pitch was and all that stuff. So we have what's called a stringer that sits in the press box, and the stringer plots where the where all the pitches are, where the hits go in the outfield, and all that data gets fed back out, and you get to see that on your phone when you're keeping up. You might not have the ability to watch a game, but you might be, don't tell your boss this, but you might have your phone on your desk and you're seeing the Yankee game at 1 o'clock and you want to see what's going on in the corner, or the Mets game in your case. You want to see what's going on, and you have that, quietly playing in the background.
With all these data points, couldn't you get into the predictive space where someone's at bat, this guy's pitching, the likelihood of, and then could that be used in a nefarious way, right, to gain an advantage for a certain team or whoever?
I don't think it's necessarily nefarious, because it's it's certainly predictive, because they're predicting, they use all this to predict, all right, well, if this guy's better against righties or lefties, or this guy's a left-handed hitter, he may still be better against left-handed pitching, in some cases. But, so a lot of times that's helping the managers predict, all right, who am I going to bring into the game in a certain situation, or does this guy not have a good record against this guy? So they're taking out a lot of that, so what used to be called the feel of the game. They're using that to predict, all right, hey, this is what my lineup should be in this situation. There's not too much nefarious that you can really do with it in terms of predictors. They're predictors, right? Not everything is going to necessarily fall out that way. It doesn't mean that just because I predict that you're not going to hit against this certain left-handed pitcher that you're not going to get up and hit a 3-run home run against him if you come up against him in the 9th inning with 2 runners on, right? So it's all subjective.
Unless you're banging trash cans.
Right, right, yeah. Like that type of stuff, that's highly illegal. You're definitely not allowed to use the cameras to tip pitches, and there's a lot of safeguards in place to prevent that type of stuff, right? So, you can't have somebody sitting in the video room watching live video, and then relaying signals back. That's absolutely not allowed,
Right.
and that's seen pretty easily nowadays. They pick up a lot of this stuff.
Houston Astros.
Yeah. Everybody gets caught eventually, right?
Yeah.
They all try, the old adage, I guess, of if you ain't cheating, you're not trying, kind of thing. But they get caught. Everybody gets caught. It's not worth it.
Any other? We got a couple more.
With the injury prevention component of it, are the athletic trainers being trained now in this spectrum, or is that a specialty that's coming about?
Yeah, the Yankees have a huge training staff. So we have 2 full-time trainers. We have a strength and conditioning coach. We have a speed coach, and basically all of the coaches are trained in all the different technologies that had helped the athletes. So they know they can go back and look at video and see if the a player's doing a certain thing that's giving them an injury. So they can help them make adjustments. And the Yankees have a huge medical staff. And then there's a whole list of or a whole group of what they call traveling coordinators, and these coordinators come in all the time. So they may bring a defensive specialist in, an offensive specialist. They may bring a pitching specialist, a catching specialist, somebody who's just works with first baseman, and they'll bring those guys in at certain times if they see players doing certain things that they don't want them to do. They'll bring this traveling coordinator in and have them spend a week with us here sometimes and go over all that defense. Dan Fiorito, who's the first base coach for the New York Yankees right now, was our manager the year that we won the Eastern League championship. He's now the first base coach, but he traveled after we won the championship. He traveled around and did those types of coordination, with all the different teams from all levels, all the way up.
It's sort of like you watch a movie and there's maybe 10 or 15 actors and actresses, and you watch the credits at the end, and there's like 1,000 people that made this happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Got another question?
Yeah, I know we're up against it, but I have a in-game communication question. Okay, logistics. All right, and it's priority. If it's priority, you don't have to answer. But you have a manager, and he has an analytics team, and they're working, and he's working. How does the communication work during the game?
The communication from...
You have coaches there besides the manager that's listening to the analytic team?
Yeah.
The game?
Yeah, I mean, they may ask their advanced scouting analyst to pull up data on a certain player, and give them stats. And, most of the time this is all done ahead of time. They've already got everything loaded into their iPads, ahead of time from when they get to the game. So there's not a lot of back and forth during a game. Most of this stuff they're already so far ahead of the game with putting all the data points into place that they need in the dugout that they're already there. So they're able to easily access whatever they need, pretty much instantaneously.
I just want to mention real quick, we have the solo
Oh, right.
over there.
Yeah, drop your...
Drawing. There's 2 prizes. The first prize is 2 tickets, a voucher for 2 tickets to a New York Yankee game, and the grand prize is the solo stove. So
Nice.
please make sure you go over there, fill out the form, put it in the thing, and before the evening's over, Bill will pick a winner, and you'll walk home with a solo stove or tickets to a Yankee game. Thanks to the Patriots. The tickets to the Yankee game are courtesy of the Somerset Patriots.
Nice.
Thank you.
So much.
And I want to thank that gentleman over there for representing us during the Star Spangled Banner. I looked out, saw what was going on. I'm like, I didn't want to stop him, but thank you for representing us, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
We have it's actually Armed Forces Weekend is this weekend, and all across Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball. So Sunday, we're actually all veterans are free. They can come in, and we actually do a pretty nice ceremony for all of our veterans. So if you're ever able to come check that out, it's definitely worth it.
If my father, God rest his soul, was here, he would have been kicking my butt to get out there and take off my hat and put my hand on my heart. So, thank you.
So here the Yankees own the team. They don't own any of the ballpark.
No.
Yeah, So the way it works is we have what's called a player development license to house the players here, and past that, it's our job to be the best hosts we can possibly be for the New York Yankees and bringing them here to Somerset County so we can, provide our community with awesome baseball. And then we get to bring a whole bunch of other cool teams in, like tonight we're playing the Mets, all right? So we have Mets, Red Sox, Pirates, all the teams get to come in.
Taxpayers have invested in the ballpark.
No.
Who built the ballpark?
Somerset County built the ballpark. So it came from
taxpayers.
No, so it came from a private. It basically came from private. It was a private partnership. So we floated bonds that are out there that are taxpayer neutral, that did not hit any. So none of them are taxpayer. The Somerset County Park Foundation was basically the one that had initially helped get this up and running. All this property was donated from Wyeth Holdings. This used to be American Cyanamid back in the day. Right. So the property was all donated. And
do the Yankees, I'm assuming, have the power to pull this team anytime they want?
So we
Trenton, they've
no.
done it to so many other places.
Yeah, so we
love us here, though. The Yankees love.
They do. They love.
I saw Brian Cashman talking about it at Christmas time.
Yeah, they love this place. There was a few reasons, I won't get into why, but they left Trenton for a reason, which, and I'm not going to disparage anybody, but there was reasons why they left Trenton and came here. We have a 10-year agreement with the Yankees, so they have to honor that 10-year agreement, whether they like us or don't like us, but they love us, and I can tell you that for a fact, because
without a doubt.
like Joanne said, Brian Cashman speaks glowingly every time that he talks about this place because of what we've put in as a team to invest in the partnership with them to make sure that their players have all the best facilities. We built a state-of-the-art batting cage building, a brand new gym, which we call a performance center, which when the players come here to rehab, they actually prefer coming here than going any other team if they're hurt. The Yankees have actually had players tell them that they do not want to go to AAA to rehab in Scranton because they'd rather come here. One, because we're closer and we have a better facility. So they've done that on numerous occasions. Brian Cashman actually said that. So I'm not talking out of school. He actually said that in front of all of our partners at our.
The Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Torre said the year that they started here, he got up in front of everybody at the partner event and said that they spent quite a bit of time traveling to every single independent league, because they were an independent league.
Yeah.
They weren't even minor league baseball.
For 22 years.
Yeah, 22 years they had an independent league. And they went to all the independent leagues, they went to all the minor leagues, and they said, this place is run better than any of them. Foul ball.
Do the Yankees have, if business is good here, do the Yankees make out better or worse?
No.
Nope.
It's an effect on you.
Yeah. It doesn't.
You're not selling out. Business isn't good. Somehow that's not economically good for.
No, it's bad. It's bad because we need to obviously we need to do very well business wise so we can do all the fun things that we do here in the facility, and making sure that everything's top notch and state of the art.
Do you know what that number is? Is it 70% sellout makes money, 60% loses money? Do you know what that number is over the year? You must. That's important.
Yeah, I mean,
well, they have a base of season ticket holders.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah, I mean, we have a great base of season ticket holders that we have every year. We've grown that. When we first started, and actually Ian over there, I'll tell you, when we first started, he actually was our controller back in the day. we had a huge season ticket holder base, and then it slowly started to dwindle over the years. And then when we got the Yankee partnership, there was an increased interest, and it went way up again. And we've been able to maintain that. And our business through AI, we've been able to see what business segments need to be developed and which ones are hot, and we can hit on those and we play those out until the next thing comes up, and then when we see what's next, we hit that business segment. So we've been able to continuously adapt our business over 28 years to make sure that we're staying on top of trends. And back in the day, we had a huge contingent of pharmaceutical companies. Well, that dried up and rules changed. Same thing with mortgage companies and financial companies. All the rules changed how we could interact with all of them. So we had to pivot and say, all right, how can we change those? So we've always done that and adapted.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Well, the food's here, so.
And I'll just say one last thing before we get together. And Bill didn't ask me to say this, but they are a great company. If you guys are not a customer, please, they are fantastic at what they do. We have basically, I couldn't even tell you how many times that they've bailed us out of we've screwed up this, or we screwed up the file, or we messed this, or and then keeping us protected through all these different cybersecurity things. And we have monthly meetings, or maybe three month meetings, check-ins all the time to make sure hey, this is what's going on. This is what the latest things in the industry. This is how you're performing. This is what's happening. This is who's getting attacked the most via email all the time. So we're always getting all of these great data points from all of these cool systems that you see up here. So if you really are not a customer, talk to Bill and his team. They're fantastic. They'll get you set up.
30-year customer.
Yes. Phil.
Yeah. We are 28-year customers. So.
Well, thank you all very much. Thank you very much, Bryan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well done.
My pleasure.
Food is ready, so everybody head over ready.
I'll give you that for your.
Oh, yeah, I'll give it back to Mike there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to head down and see what's going on downstairs.
Microphones? Good. I wanted to grab these before they're so small. It's I got. Okay, that's Bryan's and that's yours. Okay, great. Good.
Very interesting. Thank you.
You're most welcome.